Hello everybody, today is Tuesday, June 30th, 2020, 1:37 p.m. It is 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. I am on Canal Street now in Lower Manhattan, and on this walk I'll be taking you through the streets of Chinatown. There was a recent rainstorm that has stopped. That's why the ground is wet. Traffic seems to be picking up here along Canal Street. Here's Broadway. Technically, I'm still in the neighborhood of Tribeca until I get to the other side of Canal Street. Tribeca stands for Triangle Below Canal Street. And then if I were to go north to the other side of the street, that would be the neighborhood of Soho, south of Houston Street. Right now, New York City is in the phase 2 reopening of the economy from COVID-19. New York City is scheduled to go to phase 3 reopening on July 6th, 2020. That's the next Monday. But with COVID spiking throughout the country and New Jersey suspending their indoor dining operations, we'll see what happens with that. But right now, under phase 2, the retailers are allowed to open again at a reduced capacity. Barbershops and hair salons are allowed to open, and also restaurants are able to have dine-in service, although outdoors. And this seems like it needs to be fixed. It's a very deep dip in that underground door there. And lots of traffic on Canal Street, just like it was before the pandemic. What's going on over here? A lot of sirens, but the emergency services can't get anywhere because of all the traffic. Unfortunate, but that's just the way it is now. FDNY car needs to make its way through. You see here, there's a AT&T curbside service. You tell them what you need and they'll bring it to you outside. This is Lafayette Street, and I'm gonna have to wait for the crosswalk signal here. It just turned. And I've never actually seen this construction site open before. They must be making a huge building in this lot. The retail on Canal Street was hard hit even before the pandemic, just due to this being an undesirable street to do business on. But a lot of Canal Street is known as the tourist market. A lot of businesses done here selling New York City souvenirs, jewelry, handbags, things of that nature. Especially as I walk towards the main area of Chinatown past Center Street. Oftentimes you'll see counterfeit goods here, but that really stopped probably around the early 2000s. But there were many street hustlers and people here in the stores. They had counterfeit goods in the back, like Louis Vuitton bags and Gucci. Here's Center Street, named in the British English style, C-E-N-T-R-E. I don't know why it's in that style of spelling, but it's interesting to note. Here's a store for rent right now. I don't believe the store was for rent before the pandemic hit in March. You see all these retail stores are open now, all the New York City souvenir shops, but I don't know how they're doing at this time with a reduced amount of people here and reduced tourism. They kind of were selling their souvenirs at reduced prices before the pandemic, and to be honest, I think their profit margins are very thin. They rely on a lot of volume. And now that New York City tourism has mostly grind to a slowdown or a halt, I really feel for these tourism shops. Let's cross the street here. This is Walker Streets. Sun Sai Gai restaurant is closed. I think it was also closed the last time I came here. I'm expecting many Chinatown businesses to close up. But for the dining establishments which are open right now, I'm curious to see how they're doing the outdoor dining right now. Here's a Chinatown grocery store. The outdoor dining right now will be very interesting. Although it may not be in full force because it just rained. And there's also more threats of rain in the forecast. Here's Mulberry Street. This corner here at Mulberry and Canal has been very beneficial to many of the residents here. The fruit and vegetable corner vendor. Also, we got the guy here with the water and coconut. One of the best deals in Chinatown. You buy a fresh coconut for $2.50, and the man there pokes a hole in it for you, pops a straw in, and you have yourself coconut juice for $2.50. Straight from the source. Penguin ice cream is closed. Great to see the Taipan Bakery open now. This is a major store for the Chinatown community. Many people come here to get the egg tarts, Chinese buns, and mooncakes.
Huh?
But anyway, folks, I'm gonna make a right here onto Mott Street. Mott Street is the other famous street in Chinatown after Canal Street. Tons and tons of restaurants all along Mott Street. This is one of the first streets that was settled by the Chinese immigrants. This is most known as the Old Chinatown, with many of the immigrants from the Guangdong region of China and Hong Kong. Back then, Hong Kong was not considered a part of China. It was under British rule. But I see a lot of restaurants here that do not have outdoor dining right now. But more and more places are starting to open up again, which I'm very proud of, because this neighborhood was very hard hit during the pandemic. ⁴ Wang restaurant is open. Also another gift store with no one inside. Also this one as well, FQNY and ⁴ Trading Inc. I really feel for these businesses, especially now that I heard that Broadway will be closed until next year now. Before, Broadway was going to open in September, but now they're extending that date to next year. So I don't think tourism will come back anytime soon. Here's Bayard Street. And looks like they're doing something over here. Construction company. Let me walk over there. All right, looks like they're making progress here. But basically, what happened in this building was a major fire. Unfortunately, a lot of artifacts were lost, especially those that belong to the Museum of Chinese in America. Many papers and artworks and things of historical significance. This happened back in January 2020, and now this being rebuilt. Let's look through this window here, see what's going on. But it's too wet, I can't see anything. I know this restaurant, I really feel for this one. This one just opened up, the Yinji Changfen restaurant. They were very, very unfortunate because I think they opened up in the summer of last year, and then shortly after, this unfortunate incident happened here with the construction and the fire. That's why they have all these signs out here. Let our customers drive, park, and shop in Chinatown. They want to remove the wall here on this street here. It's really unfortunate. And then COVID happened, so it's really a double blow for them. Now that the economy is recovering, they can't even get people to drive in front of their business. But earlier on during the phase 2 reopening, I was commenting on if Chinatown will see outdoor dining, because these streets here are so narrow. Many of these streets were not designed for a lot of pedestrian activity, let alone tables and chairs taking up part of the sidewalk. So it is the same situation with Flushing, Queens. I didn't see any outdoor dining there at all. I am going to walk down all the way down to Chatham Square. But first I'm going to make a pit stop into this optical store because my glasses need some work. So I'll be back with you soon. Okay, so here's Bayard Streets. Five months ago during Chinese New Year, this street was so packed with people. And now it's only a fraction of that density. This block is famous for the Chinatown ice cream factory. Also Yifang fruit tea, move next door. Love the Chinatown ice cream factory. I'm glad they're back. But it's only there you can get strange flavors like lychee. And when you order ice cream, they even throw in a stick or two of Pocky into the ice cream, which is basically a stick with chocolate on top. The Bayard meat market is open as well. A lot of these stores are closed though. Bubbly Tea's closed. This place is closed. Yunshang rice noodle is closed. Oh no, look. They made a cutout in the wooden boards to serve people. Well, that's an interesting way to do it. VV Bubble Tea's open. Here's another bakery that's open right now. Xi'an Famous Foods is closed. So many of these businesses in Chinatown unfortunately did not make it. It's actually sad to see this. It's what I suspected would happen. Now I just made a right on Bowery. Past Pell Street, it becomes known as Chatham Square. This retail store is open. Looks like they're doing business right now, selling bowls and other kitchenware and houseware. Here's a block with many, many restaurants, and I know this block is going to suffer a lot. This is Pell Street, one of the oldest streets in Chinatown, and look how narrow the sidewalks are here. Tell me these restaurants can put a table and chair out here on the street, because there's no room. There's no room to even walk here. It's incredible. This restaurant is closed. Oh my goodness. Taiwan Bear House open. All the hair salons are open though around here, which is good. In a way, seeing Chinatown half open right now or partially open is freakier than seeing it completely closed, knowing that many of these businesses I thought would survive are not open right now. Like this one here, the Malaysian and Indian cuisine. This is Dora Street, by the way. The bloody angle, bloodiest street in American history due to the violent activity that happened here between rival gangs. Nam Hua Tea Parlor, the first place I see that has outdoor seating. But then again, this street can do the outdoor seating because it is closed off to traffic as part of the Open Streets program. And these chairs here are also open for Nam Hua. And one of my favorite businesses that's open right now, the Taiwan Pork Chop House. Great desserts here. They have some tables but no chairs. I suspect when the weather is nicer, they do put out tables and chairs though. I know someone who went there and they were able to dine outside. Tasty Hand-Pulled Noodles is open. I see someone in there. Here's the jewelry store, is open. Unfortunately, this is a business that did not make it. One of my favorite spots in Chinatown, famous for its roast pork buns. The ⁴ restaurant. I was told by a viewer the other day that their lease was up and the owners decided not to reopen this store. I don't know what that says in Chinese, but I hope that doesn't say closed permanently. You see here, this may be a sign of the times, folks, and I'm recording this for history. Recommended best pork buns by the Daily News on March 4th, 2012. So ⁵ restaurant, you'll be missed. I didn't enjoy your roast pork buns enough. Look at this, something's happening here. A wedding, perhaps. Weddings seem to be a very challenging thing to do nowadays. All right, I'm gonna walk up Mott Street right now, check out how this section is doing, and see if this section of Mott Street has any outdoor dining at all. Mott Street, although it has sidewalks, is not nearly as narrow as Pell Street, so maybe they could put in a table or two, but they do have some tables here, so at least they're able to do that for this restaurant. I'm happy for any kind of sidewalk space for these restaurants that they're able to open. Noodle Village has some outdoor dining options here, although the tables and chairs are getting wet from the rain. Rain really kills these restaurants' business because no one wants to go outside and dine in the rain unless you're really have nerves of steel that can handle that. Okay, the ⁵ restaurant is open. Someone just came out from under there. And I'll walk to the other side of the street, see how the restaurants on this side of the street are doing. Wing on Wall is closed from the sign. That's been a business that's been here for maybe 3 generations now. Pretty incredible. The store is open too. I think this is the Ping's restaurant. Okay, the store is open. ⁵ is temporarily closed. Oh no. Very sad to see ⁵ close. I dined at this restaurant multiple times and it was great each time. No standing, open restaurant, dining only. Jisun Ramen. Chinatown Fair. Many games have been played here at the Chinatown Fair. Big arcade here. -10 also closed. I don't know when the Chinatown Fair will reopen again, but I know many people who have wasted many hours in there playing video games. Dance Dance Revolution, Street Fighter. Many top performing video game masters and fighting game masters had their roots here in the Chinatown Fair. Now I will check the other side of Chinatown, the East Broadway section. This is known as the ⁵ section of the Chinatown, or the New Chinatown. I'm hoping the East Broadway restaurants will have some more space for sidewalk seating. Gotta be careful here, there's a lot of cars turning. Thank you. Okay, so this is the ⁵ Square. You see they have this fenced off as well. This was named after a fighter pilot who lost his life fighting in the Pacific during World War II. His name was ⁵ Lau. Also, the local American Legion Post is named after him. And this here is a statue of ⁴ᴷ⁶⁷, and he is facing East Broadway. That statue was funded by the residents who live here. He is very important to fighting against the opium wars. All right, look at this. Dim Sum Go-Go has outdoor dining available. 3 tables. Good to see that. Don't know what he's talking about, but definitely a very outspoken person. His voice travels very far. All right, I'm making my way up East Broadway now. Hopefully there's some restaurants here that are open and doing some outdoor dining. Here's a bakery on East Broadway. I don't think the bakeries are allowed to have outdoor seating, because I've seen it in many neighborhoods throughout the city, but over here I haven't seen a bakery with outdoor seating yet. By the way, this is the Chatham Square Library, New York Public Library branch, but it is closed right now. Unfortunately, libraries are one of the biggest victims of the coronavirus pandemic. Here's a dim sum restaurant, but the gates are rolled down. Sad to see that. Seafood restaurant is open. I saw the basement had 2 people waiting at the bottom of the stairs. But then again, none of these restaurants here have outdoor dining, so it will hurt them if people want to dine in. But takeout and delivery is always an option now. It's not viable for every restaurant, but nowadays businesses have to do new ways to do business and adapt to the times. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in now. There's a souvenir shop, and seems to do with bedding too. Dream NYC, and I saw some stuffed plushies and beds and pillows in there. Neat little store. All these Chinatown groceries are open along East Broadway. Good to see these open. What a stark contrast to many months ago when this area was completely closed off and no one wanted to come down here. Besides me, of course. Let's go this way. Up to Division Street. And then I'll make my way up to Grand Street. I think I'll end the video over there. Here's the Manhattan Bridge subway crossing over. Underneath the bridge is very wet, dripping water from the recent rain that we had. Okay, all these businesses over here, we have some with boards, some look open, some look closed. This one's open over here. There's also a mall in here with many stores inside. I don't know how they're doing right now. Okay, here's Forsyth Street. This is the location of the other Chinatown outdoor grocery market. This one opened up a lot later than the one on the corner of Mulberry Street and Canal Street, but great that this one is around still and they decided to reopen. I think a lot of the suppliers and distributors reopened. Without the distributors open, these places will have nothing to sell. But many people come over here because the groceries are much cheaper than in the traditional supermarkets. And I can still see that the prices are affordable here. 2 for $4 for a papaya, 2 for $2 for garlic. I know garlic in my supermarket sometimes will cost like $2.99, so it's very refreshing to see all this. There's a line for this vendor here for the honeydew, the oranges, ginger, tomatoes. But I do know a lot of New Yorkers right now, if you're listening to this video, are struggling with grocery bills now because grocery bills have increased in the pandemic. Milk is not as cheap as it used to be. Eggs, seems like a lot of things went up in price. You can always come down here to the Forsyth Market here near the Manhattan Bridge and still get your groceries at a reasonable price. And they also want to advertise the New York City free meals program again, which is still running as of today, June 30th, 2020, from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on weekdays. You can go to select public schools and pick up free meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No ID is needed, and I do want to advertise it more because not many people know about it, and the schools are throwing out the food after 48 hours if no one comes to pick it up. They do not forward it to a organization or a charity, so please take advantage of that program. All right, I'm walking next to Sarah Roosevelt Park right now. On Christie Street. There does seem to be some people inside the park. And let me check the forecast, because I have a hard time believing that it will continue to rain with the weather like this. And look at that, the rain in the forecast magically disappeared. So I'm rain free for the rest of the day. Here's Hotel MB with some graffiti just above the first floor, which is unfortunate. Not only does this hotel have to deal with a decline in business, but they have to deal with graffiti on their building facade. There's a signs, awnings, and letters business right next door. Maybe they could put a sign in front of the graffiti. It will be less noticeable that way. New York City Parks Department restroom is available here. I know because I had to use one. Restrooms in Chinatown are notoriously hard to come by unless you go to one of these restaurants here, which may or may not let you use them. Now with the pandemic, it's hard to know which ones do and which ones don't. A lot of businesses are open across the street though. Kung Fu Tea, C&L Dumpling House, the famous ⁴ ⁷ Fast Food Inc., made famous by Strictly Dumpling and the Fung Brothers. I don't see there's much of a line in there at all right now, so that's good. New Kim Tong restaurant across the street. Korean barbecue. But then again, folks, none of these places have outdoor dining. So if you're getting food here, you're gonna have to take it out. But good news is there's a public park across the street. You just come here, you sit on the bench, and you can enjoy a meal. Then again, many people are right now afraid of dining outside because of other things. Now they have to contend with garbage in the street, the wind picking up stuff and then landing on the food, the park being unclean. So these are all things you have to weigh in, whether or not you want to pick up the food and then eat it outside, or you dine outside. You may be breathing in car exhaust or other stuff. So unfortunate things. So here we have CAT Seafood Markets Corp. and the other one across the street on the corner. This is a very busy intersection for people. Last time I was in Chinatown, I went to the grocery one on the corner. They said the store is for rent, but now I see that the grocery store is occupied and they're doing business, so I wonder what happened there. And I'm coming this way to end the video and to also check if one of my favorite places in Chinatown for cheap eats is open, the Harford's Bread House. And it looks like it is, folks. Here you can get some of the best onigiri in the New York City area. Basically, it's a sushi triangle filled with some great stuff, and their egg tarts are also very good. But anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe for some more adventures, and I'll see you all next time, folks. Bye-bye and take care.
Close the doors, please.